Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, and let's continue on. I'm not going to be too loud because it's technically 11:30 at night, but I want to get caught up with at least another video or two, so I have something to post, and I'm going to be busy in the next couple of days, so at least I got something. But anyway, let's go. How did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? Well, frankly, there are still a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me. No matter what the outcome, I'm ready to accept my fate. Well, I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes? A defense attorney should never believe their client. The defendant is called to trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. Miss Sky, you remind me a lot of Mia. But there is one decisive difference between you and her. And that is, you're not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. Yeah, she's a prosecutor, so she's entitled to that opinion of never trust a defendant. My first trial without a Fae helping me. No one's gonna bail me out this time. I'll be alone in there. So I have to discover the truth by myself. And let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way. Oh boy, here we go. We're in trouble. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Edgeworth. It's been 2 months, but I haven't been in a courtroom since this trial. I hope that personal feelings will not be a part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office lot. Wow, she's much more forceful in person. Now I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There was a witness to her crime. A professional witness. Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. Prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Starr, to the stand. The cough-up queen? Haven't I seen you somewhere? You ordered a caviar lunch, correct? Oh, caviar! I've never eaten caviar before. Jeez, the judge is really wolfing it down. And for you, I have the Fiat. Ooh, that is not Edgeworth. It's like halfway, I'm like, why am I giving her a manly voice? And for you, I have the Fiesta Bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? And you, sir. Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It is too early for lunch. Now, your name and profession, please. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste? So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty it hurts. I've always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca. What the heck does pickled tapioca Name. Profession. Now.
Me? Oh, the name is Angel Star. Don't forget it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth?
Very well, witness. Now, just please describe the incident to us. The prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating.
Oh, hurry it up, Your Honor.
Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime.
Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to the court, I am a professional.
What exactly does that mean?
It means you must hold on for a minute.
Okay, sorry about that. Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Star was a special investigator with the Force. She was a first-rate homicide detective.
What? Miss Star was a detective?
Oh! I know who you are now. Cough up.
Cough up Queen Angel Star, Your Honor. Long time no see.
Very well. You may continue with the description, Miss Star.
Just who is this lady? Well, we just said she's a homicide detective. Now, if I might have the court's attention over here. The parking lot at the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. A block is for the prosecutor's office personnel, and B block is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks. I suppose that's to keep visitors from taking up the prosecutor's space, yes? The crime took place by a car in the back of A block in the car's trunk. The killer stabbed the victim with this knife and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness, and an arrest was made on the spot.
And who was this valiant witness?
Why, it was me, Your Honor.
Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime?
Well, of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor.
This seems rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright.
I can't agree on principle, Your Honor. It seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining?
If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Star.
Wait, are they talking about me? I think they are, Phoenix. I think they are. Now, if I can, I cannot. Let me check my evidence first before I continue on. Oh god, I gotta craft a ton of things. This is the parking lot. Not very helpful, I'll be perfectly honest. But we see it, so yeah. Anyway, how do I get out of here? There we go. Somehow I always knew this day would come. It was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend, when I sensed something. Perhaps it was my finely tuned detective's intuition at work. Through a while since, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garage car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then, she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest.
Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend. How touching. As you can see, there is no room for doubt. The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman.
So, how does it feel to be so utterly crushed? I'm still thinking about that. It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright.
Very well, Mr. Wright. You may continue you may cross-examine the witness.
Jesus. Doing voices when you're toned down is very hard. It's a strain. I hope I can keep it up for this episode. Somehow I always knew this day would come. How did you know? Well, I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime, yet the methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy. The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted. Given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim, killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Miss Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors there, I'd still be one. Laid off? She was fired. To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I am a pro, as you know. My testimony is unbiased and flawless. Very well. You may continue, Miss Starr. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend. This boyfriend, he's the detective. Not that boyfriend, the security guard. That boyfriend? Do you have several? Yes, this boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Care to join? The yet another boyfriend position is still open for applicants. I'll stick with the lunches, thank you. Note to self, the judge had to think before replying. The security guard room is in the lot in A block. It's up on the second level, so you can see everything from there. That would be the room with the security sign. Incidentally, did you bring your lunchboxes by car? Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in B block. So, she was in B block when she witnessed the crime. When I sensed something, perhaps it was my finely honed detective's intuition at work. You sensed something, so you're saying you had a premonition of murder? Well, I'd say it felt like... it was like the feeling you get when you view a pumpkin chock full of seeds. I have no idea what that means, witness. Speaking of a detective's intuition, wasn't the victim Mr. Bruce Goodman also one? Yes, well, he was like a young cheese. A young cheese? A pale white cheese, not yet tangy with experience on the streets. A greenhorn. Oh, then I must be hard, yellowed, and sharp as a tack. Yeah, with the odor of an old cheese to match. In any case, there in the lot, I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. By garish car, you mean? Mr. Edgeworth's car, yes. Mr. Edgeworth? Incidentally, the knife with which the blah blah blah. Incidentally, the knife with which the victim was stabbed was also the prosecutor's. Wasn't it? As I burnt very unladylike. Indeed it was. What an odd case this is. And the person you saw, are you sure it was the defendant? I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I am certain it was her. She's telling the truth, we're doomed. Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have proof, we can always nitpick. Witness, in your testimony you clearly... you are not Edgeworth. Witness, in your testimony you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Ergo, you are biased. You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, Rookie. Huh? Rookie. Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me. I'll fry you like a fritter. Crispy on the outside, but chewy on the inside. That was inspiring. I believe I've heard that tagline elsewhere. Could you cry plagiarism? I may be relegated to the lowly post of lunch lady, but my instincts are still honed. A photograph? You took this? The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and... snap! I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunch boxes is rigged with a camera. I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck. Witness! Why am I only now just seeing this photograph? You think I'd show it to you, a prosecutor? Think again. My boyfriend works in the photography division of criminal affairs. Well, this is most certainly the defendant. Joy. Uh-oh, that is unmistakably Lana Sky. So, what was the defendant doing at that time? The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Tell me more about this knife the suspect was carrying. Well, I'd say the blade was about 4 inches long. Is that right, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean, it is yours after all. Yes, that's about right. Prosecutors are by nature well versed in the location of a man's vital organ. I'm sure it was easier than boiling an egg for my egg salad surprise set. You can't testify as to her ability to kill an egg. I mean a person. Perhaps a chicken salad set would have been a better metaphor. So the defendant was holding a knife. What then? Then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. Tell the court why you didn't try to stop this crime. You did see her raise the knife to strike, no? The defense does raise a good point. Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was too late. Too late? Yes, the next moment, the chief prosecutor brought down the murder weapon. I see. It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. You said that before. Anything else? Well, scientifically speaking, Miss Starr's testimony is flawless. Oh, right, that sounds pretty fatal to me. So what do we do then? Is this it? Is my sister guilty? Let's just keep our heads cool and press the witness a bit, shall we? For some reason, having her panicking next to me makes me calmer. But don't smile like that! Oh, that's it? Shite. Okay? Oh, this is vague. Oh, give me a moment, please. That's not what I wanted. Send some yada yada. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief standing next to a garage car. The chief was holding a knife in her right hand, and then she thrust the pointy tip of the knife. I never really checked the evidence, so let me check real quick. I mean the new picture. The moment of the crime as photographed by Angel Starr. So she's claiming this is the moment of the crime. I don't think one needs to think too hard on this one. I mean, back up, please. She literally says it literally says the moment of the crime. The moment of the crime. But usually when it's the moment, it's the moment that a person's life is taken. But correct me if I'm wrong, but Where is the person whose life is being taken in this photo? This isn't exactly the moment of the crime. I don't know if she's probably just stuffing the body into the trunk at this point. I'm sorry, but this is not the moment of the crime. Oh, and coincidentally, I'm on this piece. Holding a knife in her right hand. Where the hell is the knife? Her right hand is empty, and her left hand is closing the trunk. That is not it, lady. I am so sorry. Present. That wasn't that vague at all. And you witnessed this. You saw Miss Sky stab the victim with a knife. As I've already said, yes. I swear it on my finest salmon swirl lunch. Ooh, I'm sure that is a fine lunch. But isn't that odd? I mean, just take a look at this photograph. This is the one that you took at the very moment, is it not? Then why is Miss Sky not holding a knife? Mr. Ledgeworth, your thoughts? Objection. That had to be the weakest objection ever, Ledgeworth. Yet it was still stronger than your ever feeble mind, Mr. Wright. What do you mean, Mr. Ledgeworth? This photo was not taken the moment before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after the stabbing. Oh, way to state the obvious. And how can you tell that? Blood spatter. Huh? See the dark crimson stains on the good prosecutor's coat? But it's a black and white photograph! Oh, yes, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem except you. Mr. Wright, are you just going to sit there and take that kind of abuse? You got a better idea. Let's object. I have nothing else. Wait, that contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Which was what? Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it's in the evidence. Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it! Well, if you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. Not sure I understood it, but good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Sky was cold, calculating, like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder. Premeditated? How do you know? Just look at the chief prosecutor's hands in that photograph. Well, are those gloves? Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Now why would she have those on? If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. These gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation. Premeditated murder. A serious offense. For those of you that don't know, premeditated means planned from the start. Witness, add this to your testimony. The murder was planned. The rubber gloves prove it. What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves? I mean, like, driving gloves? The gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They were rubber gloves of the kind used for autopsies. In other words, when our chief prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to murder. It's the only possible conclusion one can make. Everything was planned. It was premeditated. Impressive. I'm sorry they took you off the force, Miss Starr. This is bad. She's got them thinking this was all planned. If she can prove this claim, the trial's already over. I've got to think of a way to show that this wasn't premeditated. It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We've said that 3 times already. Yes, whatever. Okay, for some reason my hands are getting numb. I think it's because of the way I'm sitting. I'm like slouched over, and either that or it's about to sign I'm gonna have a stroke. Which I doubt because I'm too young to have one. But anyway, I think it's just the way I'm sitting. Anyway. Well, premeditated... Oh, for the love of God. Premeditated means that the murder was planned. Her only proof of that is that they were wearing gloves. However, remember what the murder weapon was. If I can get there. There we go. The murder weapon was this, and it was found in Edward's toolbox. Now, who the hell would think, oh, this person has a knife in their toolbox? Yeah, da da da. That is not planned. I am so sorry. This is not planned.
Objection!
Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell box lunches for a living, you know. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edward's trunk. Indeed, it is my knife. What's with this case? A bloody murder weapon, a red car, all belonging to the prosecutor there? The defendant is the chief prosecutor for this district, right? Mommy, are all prosecutors bad people? The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. Oh, what's that, rookie? In your testimony, you stated that Lana Skye planned this murder, and that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Well, it seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. However, why then would she not also prepare the most important thing? The murder weapon. This knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon. I mean, ooh! That was a very manly thing. Anyway, great. Now the tide's turning in our favor. Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free. Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Ha! The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing the prosecution need prove, not premeditated or not. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now? But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't, then why would she have been wearing... I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again, Miss Starr. Witness. Witness. Please tell us only what you saw, not what you thought. Oh, how dare you, Mr. Prosecutor? My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now. I am messing up on my voices, but anyway, it's too much fun. Lana Skye intended to murder Mr. Goodman, Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against him. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. Oh, I need a contradiction already. The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound a lot like premeditation, doesn't it? So if I ordered a pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy? That's the question. In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness. I already see the problem, but I'm just gonna cross-examine for the sake, because it's fun to hear the extra bits. Lana Sky intended to murder Detective Goodman. You said that, but you haven't told us you know how. How you know? That's what I'm about to tell you, rookie. I believe what she just said was a mere prelude to the story she's about to tell. But try not to interrupt her again. Rookie? Never interrupt the storyteller. It's like pulling a bun out of an oven half-baked. Something half-baked here, alright, and it's you. Try not to confuse the defense, witness. They're not quite quick on their feet. Now, why did you believe the suspect had intentions to murder the victim? Her actions speak for themselves. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. You have no proof that Miss Sky called him there. You have no proof that she didn't. Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? There is no record of a call made on the defendant, Miss Lana Sky's phone. She might have written him a letter. Oh, come on, you could have tried public phone first at least. In any case, the victim came to the prosecutor's office where he was murdered. I'm sure he had a reason to be there. Oh, witness, I am not Miss Sky, I am the judge. Why do you think it was the suspect who summoned the victim that day? I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against him. What kind of grudge? Well, I wouldn't know that, now would I? Of course you don't. That's because she doesn't have one. Rookie. I have a lunchbox here. Now, what's inside? How am I supposed to know? Exactly, see? So we both agree that there's a lunchbox, but we don't know what's inside. A person's life is like a lunchbox with pretzels. Don't you agree? I get it. That's why my lunch was so salty. This judge is very good metaphors. The suspect had a grudge against Detective Goodman. Will you tell us your basis for thinking this? It's simple. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. A human machine? That's a contradiction. Please, Mr. Wright. Can't you find fault with something of substance? Note to self, Mr. Edward's size smells like citrus fruit. What? Well, alright then. You say again and again. How many times did she stab him exactly? We often say chopped into 1,000 pieces, but we don't actually mean 1,000 pieces. What difference does it make if the deed is done? How come she's getting mad at me? Let's just say she stabbed him several times and leave it at that. Leave it at that? Oh my god, this is a murder case, people. Mr. Wright, you should speak up if you have an objection, you know. Miss Starr has turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Challenging her abilities as a detective really set her off. Well, the short wick burns the fastest. It's a scientific fact. I wonder, wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, Admiral Wax and even a really short wick will burn longer. Well, obviously more scientific testing is required. Anyway, I know where the problem is. Remember what the autopsy report said? That he died of a single stab wound? So why is she saying again and again and again like those Chucky or Halloween movies? Doom, 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 doom. Nope, no wait, sorry.
Objection!
You say she stabbed him again and again, but you couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me again? Then I'll test you. with my moss surprise. I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Star. Huh? What do you mean? I shouldn't have explained this, but take a look. The autopsy report states that death was due to a loss of blood from one stab wound. Aha! You're right! Good show, Mr. Edgeworth.
What a hunk! He's my hero, really. What about my objection? No one noticed?
Well, witness?
You got the crime scene set, right?
Oh, thanks.
I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. 1 second. Sorry, I'm not doing this recording in my room. I'm doing it in the living room, and there's this loud-ass clock. So, sorry. But anyway, I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now I realize that such mistakes are possible.
So, you're saying you mistook something for blood?
When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice.
Then tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify.
Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was. Her red muffler. Yes, like a scarf. The chief prosecutor always wears one around her neck. So she can be easily hanged at a moment's notice, I suppose. She's right. This guy was wearing a red scarf, wasn't she? But wait. Isn't it odd that you mistook that for splattered blood?
Well, people often mistake my beard for a bib.
A judge with a bib. That's why this place feels so much like kindergarten sometimes. Who'd have thunk? Actually, I do think I saw some traces of blood on her chest.
However, the autopsy report is quite clear on this. There was only one knife wound.
Apparently, Miss Star isn't entirely sure of her own testimony. Mr. Wright, this is our chance as I burp. Chance for what, I wonder? Miss Star turned out to be a short, blah blah blah. Okay. Well, it has to be something new. Oh, for the love of God. Okay. It has to be this. She's saying she saw a red muffler at the scene. I am thinking the only thing that could contradict her is that picture. Because we know she did not strike twice. Now she's we know that the victim wasn't stabbed twice. Now she's saying she thought she saw blood on the victim. I mean, obviously there is on the picture, but that picture was taken after the fact. What she's testifying to is at the moment. So the question now is, was there blood at the moment of the stabbing? I want to say no. I'm desperately trying to remember the picture. I didn't pay that much attention on the picture, and because of my rule, I've only seen the evidence once. I'm screwing myself over. Oh, God. I don't know if she was wearing a muffler. Was she? I don't know. My gut feeling tells me no. I'm gonna go with my gut. Let's present the picture and, present.
Objection!
Oh, hallelujah, my gut was right.
Jesus!
Objection!
Miss Sky, whatever. I was not paying attention. I did not expect that. I did not press anything. The witness is clearly not suited for detective work.
Excuse me?
The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you proved it yourself with this photograph. Ooh, I was right, thank God.
What? But that can't be!
Only a professional lunch lady could be so utterly clueless. Congratulations. Perhaps you finally found your true calling in life. Oh, harsh words, but good, Mr. Edgeworth.
In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevailed.
Or my objection, chopped liver?
But it was there! A scarf! No, not but something red! Really!
Well now, wait. The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but back to business.
What?
Very well, witness, continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that.
Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least.
Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony. The most important part? The part where your sister stabs the victim. This next testimony just might be the moment of truth. I know, it's true though. Everything we're picking at is just her memory, yes. But there's still no denying she saw the moment of the murder.
After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights, and arrested her on the spot. Yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel's star, resistance is futile.
You're quite determined about this scarf, aren't you?
I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. Not me, Angel Star.
That wasn't a very good metaphor. I mean, first of all, a cobra is a snake.
Oh, don't bother me with details unless you want to get bitten.
No thanks.
Note to self, Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum.
An oil drum. That's hard to imagine.
Oh, she's beautiful but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman.
Oh, let me try that. I know I could do better. There we go.
I just had to do it.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination?
boy. After the murder, the suspect attempts to run behind a partition to the side.
So where is this partition on the floor plan? I'm sure she means this wall next to the car.
Oh, that's right.
There was a wall there, about 6 feet high.
She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite a natural thing for a criminal to do.
And what did you do then?
I quickly caught her, explained her rights, and arrested her on the spot.
You say quickly. Were you close to the suspect?
As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time.
Maybe I should press her for more detail.
30 feet, yes. Well, where exactly in the parking lot? I mean, you did take the picture behind a chain link fence, but where exactly did your eyes see it? That's what I want. I'd like to see this on the floor plan, just to be safe.
The Lunchland car was... Well, she was a visitor, thus she was parked in B block.
So you witnessed the murder from here?
That would make it about 30 feet, yes. Is that correct, Miss Starr?
Yes, that's right.
But there was a chain-link fence in front of you.
I went over it, of course.
Amazing! The Copper Queen lunch lady athlete indeed.
It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence, so she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast. Yeah, that fence was about 9 feet high, too. So how did Miss Sky not get away? Question of the day. Ah, yes. When I mentioned her, she mentioned the muffler. I mean, that is true. How does she not run away? I mean, a chain-link fence, even the best athlete would take about 5 seconds to climb over it. That's 5 seconds for the suspect to clearly run away and out of sight. So, I don't get it. She mentioned the muffler. What exactly did she say? Well, if I remember correctly, I would have told you in my testimony. Cheeky. Anyway, all I heard her say was muffler.
Just that one word. So, what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but to someone else.
Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone.
Her phone?
She can't mean... By phone. Do you mean this cell phone discovered at the crime scene? Yes, ultimately.
Ultimately.
My memory... It's like a salmon heading upstream, you see?
No, the court doesn't see, Miss Starr.
The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall.
On the wall?
That's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone there. Apparently, it was out of order.
And so she used her cell phone.
Indeed.
The emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness.
Good witnessing? Whatever happened to good testifying?
You should, of course, add that to your testimony.
Things I do to please this rookie defense attorney.
The word muffler was overheard during a call.
I saw it all. How she tried the phone on the wall, but had to use her cell instead. Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court?
Oh, I was going to ask the same thing.
I'll only say this one time, so listen close, rookies. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind a partition. Then she picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled out her own cell phone from her pocket. And during that time,
you climbed over the chain-link fence.
Then, when I boldly grabbed her arm, the chief prosecutor hung up her phone. And you saw her doing this. What is it, Mr. Wright? If you did not see the problem in that testimony, then I am so sorry, but you are dumb as a bucket of rocks. I am so sorry, it is plain as day. But before we do that, the chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile. She made to escape. Can you be more specific? She brushed aside my hand and ran. It was a terrible sight to see, like a dollop of lard on a pâté of foie gras. Huh? She even kicked over an oil drum at me. An oil drum.
There was an oil drum lying on its side at the scene of the crime.
But it's strange.
What's that? If she wanted to Sorry, I thought I heard something. If she wanted to escape, why didn't she run the other way? The parking lot entrance.
That's right. It doesn't make any sense that she would run from behind the partition to the oil drums. Excellent. More mysteries.
Well, I wish we could solve a few before finding more, though.
So Miss Sky tried to run.
I'm sorry my sister is so suspicious, Mr. Wright. Not as sorry as I am. But she didn't do it. You have to believe me. I know the big problem here. She tried to phone on the wall, but tried to use her cell phone instead. Let's take the parking lot floor plans. That's not what I meant, but, well, yeah, we'll review it. You're standing here, the phone is here. Wall is here. Big problem!
Objection!
Miss Star, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Sky. Oh my god.
Objection!
The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Well, who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction. This is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this? I don't know what you're talking about, rookie. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up. Very well, then let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Sky making that call. I believe you now see where I'm getting at. That emergency phone was on the back side of this partition. If indeed you were in Block B, you couldn't have seen it. What? Order! What is the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch. She's coughing up lies. That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question. Tell us exactly what lies this witness has told the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. I can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied. Excuse me. She's very sure about what she saw, like deathly sure. So she's not lying about what she saw. The only other thing that could be wrong then is she's lying about where she saw it. Miss Sky tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about that fact? Nothing. Therefore, it's pointless for Miss Star to lie about it. Pointless to lie. I see. But let's say the witness did actually see Miss Sky using that emergency phone. That would then mean Miss Star witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? Now that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness standing when she saw the crime? Well, the testimony we've heard now points in one direction. The place from where Miss Star witnessed this crime was here. It has to be somewhere from the other side of this wall. She couldn't have been here because she specifically stated she climbed over this wire fence. So she came from here. She was not out here. There's only one other place she could have seen this from. And that would be the second floor security room.
Take that!
This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room. Indeed, the security room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second floor so you can see the entire lot. So she would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are many other places where she could have seen the phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in A block, so the only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition is here. Now, I remember in your testimony, Miss Starr, that you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, right? Well, Miss Starr? How many years have I been getting the better of men to think that the tables could be turned? Today, a man has gotten the better of Angel Star.
Order! Witness! What have you done? You used to be a detective. You know better than to lie.
Oh, I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished, and I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. Guilty? Is she talking about Miss Sky? Mr. Wright, doesn't it strike you as odd? Why did Miss Starr lie? I mean, it does make sense. Huh? She could have just said she saw the crime scene from the guard station. It wouldn't change anything.
Exactly. This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. That truth still stands.
Objection!
It still stands? Oh, I'm sorry, but I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth.
What?
If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without a good reason.
So, tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright.
Huh? Me?
What, who else?
Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Okay, so Miss Starr witnessed a crime from the security guard station. But she lied and said she saw it from B block. It must make a vital difference, but what? What would change? Well, we have evidence that she was in B block because of the photograph she took. It can't be the angle because we already proved that. Oh, I get it. In theory, the security guard station is 30 feet away from the crime scene. From the crime scene. However, technically speaking, it's completely different. How long did it take her to get to B block? That is the question of the day. We had to calculate how long it took her to get to B block. Therefore, the distance in terms of her getting from security to B block. It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime.
Objection!
My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at the floor plans and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see.
Objection!
What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Sky?
Well, witness?
You... Yes? You ordered the squid wheels, right? Wow, the quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. I was bringing a PB&J lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend.
Boysenberry for the boyfriend.
He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene. But the door was locked. I couldn't open it. Oh my god, she took the scenic route. How long did it take you to take the scenic route? But more importantly, why didn't Lana's guy run?
That's why I had to go through the visitors' parking in B block.
Well, that's quite a detour.
It probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. 5 minutes? Lana should have disappeared by then. What the hell was she doing?
5 minutes? This changes things considerably.
But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic sport.
You do have a point. And the spork is a wonderful invention.
Would you like another caviar lunch?
Absolutely.
Oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Do we have any evidence to stop this?
I don't know if I have any evidence. Well, you know what? There is no official break between the case, but I'm gonna stop it here because we are just over an hour, and it's already 12:30 at night, and I am done talking, so I will see you guys all on the next episode when I can come up with a, can I save in the middle of this? Oh, thank God, okay. So I will go ahead and do that. Yes. And I will go ahead and go to sleep and see you guys all in the next episode. Later, people.